All right. I left home about a year ago. Just got tired of the status quo. Mom said, son, where you gonna go? I said, I don't know, Mama, but I can't say it. Well, I tossed my coat into the well, crossed my heart, swore never to tell. I'm not much on superstition, but when things are going, man, I can't take a chance. Gonna ride out west till I'm all out of tears. Find a little tune burning in my ears. South Congress 7-8, there's a ballerina dance, cowboy boots, sweet sachet in a summer dress. Tell me where have I been all them years. I drove off into the night, sang you by the dashboard light. There's 100 bars and 1,000 bands. There's plenty of work if you can get them to dance. Well, I got my first gig at Ware Rose, 5 blocks south of the Congress Bridge. 2 bills and a pickle jar was all it took, man, I ain't looked back. Gonna ride out west till I'm all out of tears. Find that little girl with the flower hair. South Congress 7-8, there's a ballerina dancing, cowboy boots, sweet sachet in a summer dress. Tell me where have I been all them years. Tears, find a little tune burning in my ears. Gonna ride out west till I'm all out of breath. Find that little girl with the flower hair. South Congress 7-8, there's a ballerina dance, cowboy boots, sweet sachet in a summer dress. Tell me where have I been all them years. South Congress 7-8, there's a ballerina dancing, cowboy boots, God sprinkle freckles, smiles in her eyes. Tell me where have I been? Tell me where have you been? Tell me where have we been all our lives?
Woo! Well, hello and welcome to KPFT Sessions, coming to you live from KPFT 90.1 FM in Houston. I am your host, Masaya, and with us behind the scenes today is DJ Rico Black, who also hosts Houstonian here on KPFT. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, as always, Masaya.
It's always a fun, because you always make us sound great.
I hope so.
Well, we'll find out. No, I'm just kidding. So, but anyways, this program is powered by our community of supporters. If you appreciate the music and stories shared here, please consider donating and
at kpft.org for sure.
Sorry, that messed me up. So this is real. This is as real as it gets, guys.
It's live.
Yes. Previously recorded live. Anyways, so we just heard a fantastic performance from the incredibly talented Max Rios. Max has been a staple in the Tex Americana music scene, known for his powerful voice, as we heard, compelling story writing, and dynamic performances. Max, it's super great to have you here. How are you today?
Good to be back. It's been 6 months. It's crazy. We were here the December 15th, or right before the 15th.
That's
when we met you. So yeah, crazy. Half a year's gone by, but I'm here.
Yes, you definitely are, and I appreciate you coming
Thanks
back.
for having us. Yeah,
no worries. And so let's get to this other camera here. He did bring, or you brought a special guest today. Can you introduce your guitar player for us?
This is Joe Lopez Jr., not to be confused with Joe Lopez, which is another musician. But Joe and I have been playing, since like 92, off and on. So we've known each other a real long time. And he's really a drummer, but he's been playing guitar a lot. And Exhibit A, it's paying off because the dividends are in. He's here playing with me. So,
if you didn't tell me he was your drummer, I would have never guessed.
No, he's got great rhythm. So now ask me to play drums, it'll never happen. So yeah, kudos to Joe Lopez, and good to have him here.
Right on for rolling through, Joe. So that opening song was super great, Max. I think I've heard it before. What was the inspiration for it?
That song is called South Congress Serenade, and it's a song. There's a street out in Austin, Texas, South Congress, which is where the Continental Club is, where Stevie Ray Vaughan and all the great players played at. And across the street, there's a restaurant with an open oak garden called Hueros, or they call it Hueros over there. So it's Hueros. So we got the Waysiders. My band and I are originally from Houston. I moved to Lockhart about 16 years, not Lockhart, Bastrop, about 16 years ago. And so we got our first gig at Hueros. So that's where the opening line is, so we're intimidated because Austin claims to be the music capital of the world. And so we're like going, oh man, this is our first gig and we're gonna suck. But so I was sick that day, and we didn't have this song. This song was inspired from that gig. So my buddy Chuck Banya was singing, and I'm like miserable. I just want to go home because I've had a fever all week. Just want to go home and lay down. And I look over at him, and he's got this ear-to-ear grin, and I'm like, why is he so happy? And I'm so miserable. And then he just kind of gives me that, check it out. And there was a girl out there. She was dancing on her own. She had a spaghetti strap dress on and cowboy boots, which I always thought that was strange because we're from Houston, and you don't kind of see that stuff because there's a lot of humidity out here. It's a different look. Now it's a style thing. So you go anywhere you go, you see girls with, the spaghetti strap dresses on and just cowboy boots. It's kind of a thing now. But back then, that was the first time I'd seen that. And she was just dancing. She didn't need a partner. She was doing her own thing. So we called her the ballerina in cowboy boots. So that song was about doing that, playing that gig, and it's like saying. So it starts off like I'm head west. All these songs talk about heading west. For me, west was going to Austin, and being intimidated, and then saying, hey, we're going to be okay. And then there's a reference in there to 2 bills in a pickle jar. So, a small disclaimer: we got literally $200 and a tip jar, and I think we made like $300 that day. But we were. So anyway, it's like, hey, I ain't never looking back. So that's the whole song's kind of autobiographical about that particular day, and so we said, hey, we got a song out of it, even though I wasn't in the greatest of conditions that day. I have old video, and I've got this big sweat stain where I'm sweating that fever out. But anyway, we got South Congress Serenade. That's what that song's about.
Hold on. You're telling me you have a video of that performance?
Yeah, there's a video. It's probably on YouTube. Yeah. It's old. Yeah, it's old.
Oh, I'm looking for this.
Yeah.
So this is so that video is the birth of this song.
Birth of that song. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And we've gotten lucky and played the radio station there. I'm gonna have to get me a KPF T-shirt before I leave. I used to donate when I was in Houston. I used to have one, but I haven't had one in a long time. But we did Sun Radio out there a couple times, and we actually got to play. We played there twice the last 2 years. Yeah. And we got to play on that same stage, and I got to share that story. It's like, this is where I was standing about right here, so that was kind of a cool deja vu in reverse, reverse engineered deja vu, where we got to play it and then talk about that story, and it's kind of a nice.
I'm definitely going to look for that now. But, so, anywho, so what song do you have for next?
The next song will be Shame, Shame, Shame. That's what you got on your shirt. Shame on me. I say shame on you, shame on me. That's the song. And that was kind of inspired by an old friend of mine, Mo Fernandez, and it was a high school buddy. And I used to play Tejano a long time ago with Joe. That's where we started together. And then my old rock and roll buddies were like disappointed in me for the longest. And then I ran into Mo. I hadn't seen him since junior high. He's like, Max, you're back. And I'm like, where was I at? You know what I mean? Like I was reborn. He goes, you're back, you're playing rock again. And then he's like, hey, what about what's your name? And it was an old friend of ours, mine. And I hadn't thought about her. I hadn't thought of her. I totally forgot. It's like you have this one summer, and then it's all about being a summer, being a kid in summer. I was a teenager. I think I was, 16 or 17. I can't remember. But I hadn't heard her name, or thought about her name. And then after that, it was like I was kind of fixated on her for a while. I was like, I wonder where she's at. I wonder what she's doing. I wonder how she's doing, And I'm like thinking, man, I'm married and I got kids. I shouldn't even be thinking about these things. And, but you go down that rabbit hole. So this is a rabbit hole song, and I tell my wife, this is therapy. It was a way of me working through it. So it's called Shame, Shame, Shame. So going out to Mo Fernandez for bringing her name up. We'll start around on the D. See if I can get to it. Normally it has a Cajun feel to it. Did you play drums on this one?
No.
No? In the studio? Okay. Well, here we go. Driving to my job cause I can't concentrate. Sleeping in regularly and coming in late. Burning in out over, starting up over flame. Boss says I won't be long with no one to play. Put her own memories into a box. Never even gave it a second thought till just the other day someone called your name. All came crashing like California waves, singing shame, shame, shame. Shame on me for letting you in all over. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you for doing the things that you did. Shame, shame. Shame on us for knowing it could never be. Heard you got married and moved upstate. Got the white picket fence, the whole 9 yards. It was only yesterday we were so carefree. Toasting life together from the same paper cup. Wonder if I ever cross your mind while you're sitting in traffic in your spare time. Sneak into your memories just before you arrive. I'd love to see his face when you call him my name. Say shame, shame, shame. Shame on me for believing that we were an item. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you for taking me to your secret. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on us for knowing it could never be. How many times have I stared at the moon, thinking back to that time on the roof? We held each other on all last night and swore that time could never be back. Promises held until death do us part, and then it always be on the other side. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on me for believing that we were an item. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you for doing the things that you did. Shame, shame. Oh, shame, shame, shame. Shame on me for letting you in all over. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on us for having a good time, babe. shame, shame. Shame on us for having such a good time. Shame on you for never letting me. Shame on us for having such a good time. Shame on you, me, the roof, the moon, the smile, the touch, my hands. Shame on that girl.
Shame on her, for
Shame on
sure.
her.
Shame, yeah. Shame on me.
Shame on.
No, this is another local band. I love these bands. Have you not? Anyways, this is about you. Listen. So, for your final song today, what is it and why did you choose it?
Okay. This last song is actually our last single that we recorded recently. Well, man, I hate to say this. It's been a year. We released it a year ago. A year ago, June 2nd, we played at the Continental Club. June 2nd, it's been a year. We started at Joe's house. I had this lick for 7 years. And so my mom died in 2016. And I remember I was working in a hotel. I was at a hotel. I was working out of town. And you know, when your parents pass away, it was just a really tough time. So I was really close to my mom, and so I had that lick, and nothing came of it. And then didn't have any. I had an idea, and then I told Joe, went to his house, and he's got a little studio set up, and I said, let's just cut something, and then we pieced it together, and then we took it into the studio and recorded it. I think it was like in February or something. Then we finally released it in June 2nd of last year. So yeah, this song is called Angelina, which my mom was named Evangelina, Evangeline, and it's not about my mom. It's just a song about a person that can't get to another person. It's kind of the character says, and then I would go over and talk to my dad, and he would tell me about all these bouts of insomnia that he had. So I kind of just played with the idea, and the guy's pining for this person, and her name's not. Yeah, I guess it is Angelina. I mean, that's the name of the song. And he's kind of like pining about trying to get to this person, but he can't, and he stays up late at night, and that's kind of my dad having insomnia, and and it's like it's not related at all. It's just kind of like artistically just kind of melding this story together, or this scene together. So anyway, so it's based off that initial lick that I had, and I just kind of recorded it on I think my phone, and then I put it on my computer, and then it kind of traveled around. I always had that little lick, and then I didn't, we never played it for anybody. And then Joe says, "You got some song ideas?" I said, "Yeah, I've got a couple." So we took that and we kind of just framed it out, and then kind of arranged it. And we had like 2 or 3 rehearsal sessions. And then we kind of came up with what you'll hopefully hear now in its entirety. Not messing up. All right. Yeah. I could be so weak. Won't look at you, girl, I'm losing sleep. You stopped my world from across the room. Now it's a fight just to get to you. Don't look away. Angelina, look at what you done to me. Please don't go, girl, leaving me with just a dream. Oh, Angelina, I'll never ever be the same. Please don't go, girl, leaving me with just your name. spend my nights waiting here for you, watching the shadows roll across the room. When morning comes and I'm still alone, I curse the night and the laughing moon. Don't look away, Angelina. Look at what you done to me. Sweet surrender. Is it real or just a dream? Oh, Angelina, I'll never ever be the same. Please don't go, girl, leaving me with just your name. I'll never ever be the same. Please don't go, girl, leaving me with just your name. Oh, Angelina, I'll never ever be the same. Please don't go, girl, leaving me with just your name.
All right, I gotta. Why do most songs do that at the end? Is that to like, it's over, or is that just like flair, or is that part of like what you learn in music school?
You talking about the what?
Like when we end together.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really just to kind of have us all end, at the same time,
It's a
so it
drummer
doesn't
thing.
sound like boom, like everybody is ending at weird odd times. It doesn't give closure to the songs.
Okay, all
Usually
right.
somebody just gives a good
Cue,
nod,
yeah.
or you see the rock guitars go. That's kind of why.
So now I'm gonna have to look out for that every time I go to a show because I hear it more often than not, and I was like, I know I'm supposed to wait for something before I clap, and then oh, there it is.
It's a cue.
Oh, I like this. I like hearing the behind the scenes stuff, so I'm like more knowledgeable. But anyway, sorry, that was my little tidbit. But guys, it was an absolute pleasure having you guys here.
Thank you for having us.
Dude, no problem. I can't wait to see the full band. Hint, hint, listeners.
Yeah, we
What?
can't wait to play it. Yeah, play it live. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I can't like I love seeing the intimate acoustic styles here, and then seeing the full band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like two sides of the same coin kind of deal. I hate using that term, but I'm gonna say it anyway because it fits right here. But
Yeah.
Max, please tell the listeners what you have going on, how they can find you, how they or at least tell me where I can find Angelina because I want to hear the full
Okay.
song of that.
Yeah. You can go to Spotify. You can go to look up Max Rios, or you can go Max. And I've done this kind of accidentally over the years. When I've submitted a song, I'll usually say sometimes I'll just list it as Max Rios. Sometimes it's Max Rios and the Waysiders, which is the name of the full band. And sometimes I've gone Max and the Waysiders, so it's kind of confusing. There's like 3 different ways to find it. But if you go to www.maxrios.com, that's the easiest way. And those links are already listed on one of the web pages, and you can click and find the YouTube stuff. And then I don't have Twitter or X. I never got into that. But I have the Spotify, YouTube, and there's SoundCloud, but I don't really use that anymore. Kind of phased. There's so many different medias or platforms that I kind of phased out. But yeah, if you go to www.maxrios.com, you can find all the gig stuff, and you can find bio and pics and stuff like that, and just just kind of explore the, it's not an elaborate. It's just a good functional website. Some of these other bands, I'm like, wow, I'm always impressed by their social media windows, and I'm like, man, it's something to strive for. But I'm trying to write songs. I'm not. I make my own videos, and they're really lo-fi, and but it's kind of a do-it-yourself DIY.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Max and Joe, for sharing your music and stories with us today. And thanks again to DJ Rico Black for making us sound awesome. And don't forget, he also hosts a Houstonian here on KPFT. And thank you to everyone behind the scenes. We got Joel back there, head of marketing at CCN, and Howard here running the moving camera. I couldn't think of the words. But yep, to our listeners, don't forget to support local music and artists like Max Rios by checking out live shows and following them online. You can also watch the full interview and performance on YouTube by searching KPFT Sessions. You've been listening to KPFT 90.1. We hope you enjoyed today's sessions as much as we did. Until next time, keep supporting local artists and keep the music alive. Goodbye. All right, that was Max Rios. And we're going to be working with him a lot more, and can't wait to see the full band, Max. And so next up, we don't have music, but we do have a creative up next. He's a painter. He's definitely someone that's been posting his art, and definitely someone that I admire, and probably one of the first painters that had me feeling some type of way. So let's get into this. This is the artist behind the art, the Houston Collective. Here we go. Hello, this is Masaya of the Houston Collective here on KPFT 90.1 FM Houston. Today we have a special segment. We are featuring an artist this time. It's not music, but it's an artist. So let's jump right into it. Please, Connor, introduce yourself for the 7th time, because the viewers and the listeners did not hear the sound check.
It's all right. My name is Connor Day. I'm a local Houston artist. Lived in Houston my whole life, and I was born here, and love Houston so much. It's my hometown.
You didn't say bred.
I didn't say born and bred this time. I should have been like, I was bred here.
I know. I've been telling everybody, like, this is probably not a regular radio show, because I'm not a radio dude. So I was like, you know what? Let's just show personality.
Yeah.
Because actually, I'm not even going to go into, if you've heard KPFT, it's nothing like me. But
yeah.
So let's talk about what brought you in today. You're an artist of what kind again?
I consider myself like a visual artist, and somewhere between like modern art and like abstract. That's where I kind of have found a home as far as what genre.
So what makes art modern?
I think a lot of if you go back and look at all the Renaissance and like people, and then even people in the 1800s, like Van Gogh and all that, they have like more objective reality, like, or more realist things. Like they're drawing pictures of like people in robes and stuff like that. And then I think, from my understanding, as time went on, people started to pull away from like more objectivity in paintings. That's my like definition of modern art, is when it moves away from like more permanent shapes and just moves into something more abstract. Like in the 60s you had like and even in like 50s you had guys like Dali and like Max Ernst, a German painter who was like really good at just pulling 900 things out of one picture.
So is Dali considered modern?
I would say he was kind of like one of the bigger ones. From my understanding, he's like one of the bigger guys that kind of like, and then like Andy Warhol. like
Okay.
the pop art type style and all of that, where he was just taking pictures and putting them in like, you know, prints and stuff.
And that's called, I don't know.
yeah.
I think like I'm so out of touch of the art world. So like when I hear modern, it's not necessarily modern, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like a term just that they use for like a style.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there like a term for like present day art?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Born yesterday art. That's
born yesterday.
It was
like
bred
today.
yesterday.
Bread. Ooh, look at that. Was it bred from Houston?
It was bred in Houston and from Houston.
So I've known you for quite a bit, and I've seen a bunch of your paintings. And before you, I think I was never into art, but seeing your art, man, I could definitely get something from it, and I know that that's what art is supposed to be: is feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And so this is what you brought today.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I appreciate you saying that too, man. That's what I'm going for. Is just trying to get a feeling out of whoever sees it.
Yeah,
because it was painted with everything I do is just 100%. Just trying to be. I'm less concerned with if it looks a certain way of how I initially see it in my head, and more concerned with if I'm like putting enough care into it when I do it and putting intention into it.
So what's the process like? So do you have an image in your head and then try to put that on a canvas, or are you freestyling it kind of deal?
I've done both. The most fun ones for me are when I have an image idea. I'll be looking at other artwork or especially album covers. That was my first foray into like visual art. Like as a kid, like getting into that was album covers. And so even today, like now, I will look at an album cover, maybe one that I haven't seen before, and I will use my limitations as a like more objective artist and try to replicate that, knowing that it's not going to come out anywhere near that. But then it's by using your own limitations, you've come up with like something completely original. So I'll start with like an image that I'll have, and I'll put it on my phone or something, or on a computer screen, and then just like try to use some of the same colors and textures and stuff, and then just see what comes out of that.
So when you say textures, is this like the medium, or I don't even know if that's the right term, but the kind of paint that you use? Because I mean, it looks bumpy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right art term. Oh, okay.
Well,
bumpy.
Textured. That's what I would call just bumpy places. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and for that one, I actually I had drawn out like the actual like shape of the whatever that is in the middle, and then I just put a lot of paint in the dark spots and took the saran wrap or the wrapping that came on the canvas and just placed it on there, and then let it sit for like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 days.
Oh.
And then I just ripped it off, and I was left with all these cool textures and like shapes and stuff. And then I started doing the drip because they would catch in the grooves of that, and like let it kind of just like make a two-toned thing.
So like so is that like a couple different types? I mean, is watercolor part of that?
There's watercolor for like the brighter tones, because I love how you can blend and drip and like make really trippy looking like stuff on the back of the white canvas. Just makes it pop. But then acrylics and for the drips, it's like very saturated like watercolors.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like, and what's crazy is your art is definitely evolving.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Your style is still there,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh man, like this is completely different from what.
When I was the first 3 or 4 that I did was literally just a canvas. They were black canvases with painter's tape and acrylics. That was it. and I was just like making shapes out of those and then just like painting over them and then peeling the tape off. And I was just like, I'm calling that one good. And now I'm sitting here like, I'm going to put saran wrap on it and like let it sit for 2 or 3 days and then rip it off and like throw paint at it. Like,
So after the saran wrap, you did the splatter paint on there, right?
yeah, splatter paint, and then I would come through and just try to like take different colors with either watercolor or acrylics and just try to like pull more shapes out. That's one of the things the Max Ernst guy, he's like one of my favorite painters. His style, I don't really know a whole lot about him like personally, but his art style has always just been like something I'm trying to move towards being able to do eventually. He has a lot of really cool like just like creatures and shapes.
Creatures,
And,
okay.
yeah, he's got some strange looking like trippy creatures.
Well, what's funny is like when I first saw it, the first thing I thought is, since you're bringing up album covers, is Tool.
Yeah. It's Tool? Okay,
like
yeah,
the
awesome.
eye.
Yeah.
But what's funny is I made sure to stay quiet, and I was like, what, you're like that thing in the middle, and I was like, it looks like an eye to me.
Yeah, I always thought that it kind of looked like a rabbit that's like having a weird moment.
That?
Like it's a side profile of a rabbit.
Now I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That like so. So do you ever? I mean, I don't know. Like I saw a picture of your living room, and you have all your art posted. So do you guys have friends over and like?
No, dude. Actually, the last time I had was like I've just moved into this place, and it was right after my birthday. So I had people over. It was like housewarming and birthday, and I had them all up. And one of my buddies was like, we were all like, having beers and like hanging out and stuff. One of my buddies was like, he's like, I don't know a whole lot about art, but like, you want to like tell me about each one of those? And I was like, not right now. And I just poured him a beer, just like gave it to him. I was like, here, just drink this.
No, I don't want to talk about it. So people do ask you about it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I get some. It's funny too because I've had people I have not spoken to like since like high school, like some of my work that I've posted on there, which is that's a trip to be able to just like recommunicate with someone without words, like through I'm like, oh, that's cool that you like it. We haven't talked in like 15 years, but yeah,
Did you
awesome.
end up talking to them?
No.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It's the same thing. Like when I post anything, I was like, man, I haven't talked to that person. Let me just continue doing what I was doing.
Thank you, and then be like, nope, delete that.
Oh, that's funny. So, how many? So, okay, since this one's here, how long? I know you said you put the saran wrap and you let it stick for a couple days.
Yeah.
Like before you put the saran wrap, like how long were you working on this before?
I had just done the shape of like the creature in the middle, and I think that was it. Before I just dabbed on those colors, and then put that on there, and then everything else like inside of the middle part and all the detail and drips was all done like after that. But that one was like a 2 or 3 week thing because some of them I had done up to that point. The last like 4 or 5 that I had done were like just done very quickly. And so this one I was like, let me try and change it up a little bit and see what the result is by just like doing a little bit and pulling away and then come back like a couple days later and try it. Because like the benefit of doing that is that you get different ideas. Like you can sit with it for a little bit, and then I find that they come out like trippier and more chaotic when you like wait on it, as opposed to just like because you're using maybe 3 or 4 colors initially if you're just making one in like an afternoon. But then if you sit on it and think about stuff and like you're like, all right, I'm gonna come back and just like put drips all over it, and you do that and you're like, all right, that's it for today. And then come back the next day when you're like, dude, I should just draw an eye in there. And like, I don't know that I would have thought of that like on the day when I did like the drips, Oh
yeah, that's awesome that's your process, because I tell the editors here all that, you know what I mean? Like get it to theoretically 80%.
Yeah.
Don't even look at it for a day to maybe a week, and then come back to it and you'll get. So I'm glad that some creative processes are still similar no matter what the medium is.
Yeah.
And so, how do you know when a painting is finished? Because I know you said you put a little bit, step away from it. Like, have you ever gone too far?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
No, what happens then is like whenever I've gone too far. What's funny is like if you look at any of the ones that I have on my Instagram page, any of the ones that have black backgrounds was another painting that I didn't like, so I just painted it over with like another color, like a dark, and then just did something different. So I've taken things too far. There's actually been like two in particular that I was like, I had everything and I got like, it was awesome and I got too excited. And I like put something on there. It's just the simplest thing and it just totally distracted like you from everything else that was cool. And I was like, well, time to paint over it.
So does that like... Do you hurt your own feelings that way?
No, it's part of the fun actually.
Okay.
Because also too, every one that I've done, I try to like really learn, like look at it and learn something from it. So it is, you know, while it's frustrating, it's not like a negative frustration. You're just kind of like, oh man, like, oh well, and just go with it and just try it. Now you have the knowledge of like how to at least somewhat replicate that, and then, you know, you can come up with something even better.
Yeah, I mean, but so that's where I'm struggling, like, because it's abstract, like
yeah, I don't know when it's done. I don't know when it's done. I know it's literally just a feeling, just a voice in my head's going like, nope, no more.
Yeah. Is that like the muse or whatever they call it?
It just whenever I feel like it's done, I'll even just be working on stuff and like in the flow, and all of a sudden, and then I'll stop for a second, and I'm like, there's no more. Like, and I'm like, I want to keep going, but I'm like, nope, this one's done. Just put it off to the side, get your sketchbook out, and get the rest of whatever else you want to do out.
So then, have you ever had paintings where you're like, okay, it's done, and then like a week or month or whatever later, be like, actually, it's
I could have
not.
done well. I try to, that's one thing that I try to not do, to go back and like add things or take away things from it. It's just like a practice of like committing, like just whenever I feel like in that moment when I'm done is what I want people to see. So I will post it and then not take it down and like repost it. Like I've only done that once, and I literally just turned one of them sideways because I didn't do anything different to the actual painting itself. But I was like, it looks cooler this way, but I left the original one up there. Okay. But like I want that moment when I feel like I'm done. Like that's what I want people to see. And it's funny too because I take the pictures right when they're fresh, but a lot of them I don't put like a seal or like a sealer or like Mod Podge or something on top of it for like a couple months because I want the fading. Like I want it to just to get a little more vintage. It's like putting up like a vintage filter, but you just or it's like I was talking with Tom last night about it, and he was like, it's like letting like a lasagna like sit in the fridge overnight. Like it just makes it richer in flavor.
Yeah, no. Well, that's funny you bring up food because Filipino food's the same way. It's always going to turn out good that day, but man, it go better the next day
because it just everything it just absorbs. Mm-hmm. Like I've had like lasagnas or even just like sauce like chili.
Yeah,
that's another thing. You just put it in. So that was kind of like the idea for this. I was like, if I just let them fade a little bit and then put it on at the right color tone. So in a way, I'm still kind of working on them, even though they're done. I'm just every day. I'm just like, all right, no, another day.
Wow. So I mean, does the fade happen? Like, I mean, I guess you paint just all the time, so you know the difference. Yeah, and on the pictures that I post on Instagram, you can see like how much brighter they are than in real life. But in that, that's in that moment, that's what I wanted people to like see. Is just how it was like right when I was like, okay, it's done. Let's set it up, take pictures, and post it, and then never add anything to it. So once it's posted, that means it's done. It's done. Yeah, done. No more messing around. No more messing around. There was one. I guess there is one that I added to. That's why I continued to do that, because I did one
and it was one of those things where it's like I took it too far, and I posted it, and I was like, I'm still gonna leave both of them up, just so it's like you can decide which one you liked better.
Yeah, so how fast is like the not turnaround process, I'm talking in like video terms, but like from start to finish on average, like how long does a painting take?
On average, well, it depends on the size of the canvas. Like for that one,
that's the biggest one I think I've seen.
Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 that are that size, and I want to start doing bigger ones, but that's the biggest size that I've gotten. But on larger ones, I try to take my time just because they're going to be really big on the wall. And like, I want to, for them to just be kind of more as detailed as possible. But as far as like the smaller, like ones that I post more frequently, those are in an evening. Like that'll be like what I did that evening is just sit down, and I try to restrict myself to like 3 or 4 colors and just try to see what I can get out of that. And just have fun with it. Just let things just kind of, it's definitely a release.
I mean, it shows.
Yeah.
It definitely shows.
Yeah.
Can I explain it? No.
Yeah.
I can't explain, but I can see that it's some sort of release somehow emotionally or whatever.
It's extremely cathartic. It's become extremely cathartic because, the whole reason I started, like even getting into it, was I don't know if you remember the freeze that happened in Houston. I was living in an apartment, and I had a pipe burst behind my shower head wall, and it flooded my whole apartment. And then the sun came out, and I was flooded, and nothing was done about it for 2 weeks. So all of the stuff I had on my walls, posters and stuff, were just curled and destroyed. So I lived in my new place in Humble for like a year and a half, and I was like, I don't have anything on my walls. And I was like, where do people go for stuff like that? So I went to the at-home store, and it was all like live, laugh, love, and like don't talk to me before I've had my coffee, and like keep calm and carry on type stuff. And I was like, hey, that's for you. That's not for me. And plus, it was like $60 for like one that's like this big. What? There was like little trinkets. They're like $60. So it's like I'm gonna spend my whole paycheck getting 2 paintings or something.
And that says "Live, Laugh, Love."
Yeah, and then so I was like, where else do you go? I was like, like smoke shops. They have that panel of those in the back you can go through. And then I was like, it's like Bob Marley and the Wailers, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Like, I'm like, this is the live, laugh, love of college dorm rooms.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good one.
I don't want this either. So I was like, dude, like, I've always wanted to get into art, and stuff. So I took the $60 I would have spent it at the at-home store and went to Michael's and just bought like the cheapest stuff I could get. And that was the first 4 that I did.
Whoa, hold on. So you just started painting, like 3 years ago?
Like under 3 years.
Whoa, yeah. I didn't even know. I mean, now everybody knows.
Yeah.
But you could have totally sold it as like, I've been painting for 20 years.
No,
yeah, because it totally looks like.
Thanks.
I mean, but then again, I'm very ignorant to art and abstract stuff. Is super new to me.
I still feel like I'm still like somewhat ignorant as far as like just the expansive world, but I'm having fun doing it, and also like learning about the different like styles and structures. It's like, okay, if I can like, I like that aspect of something, like I want to try and incorporate that later. So I'm trying to not stick to just one style, but as I hopefully like progress, I want to like start just blending different like techniques and structures. And I try not to do the same thing for too long. Like I'll try to do 3 or 4 of something in a certain style with a certain like mindset, and then just move on and do something different. That's the only way. My ADHD doesn't allow me to.
I mean, hey, that makes it great for like I don't know, are they called a series of paintings?
Yeah,
okay.
and I have done series. I had a whole series that was just just monsters, creatures that I was just accidentally drawing and being like, that looks like a creature. So I just started naming them monsters.
I think I remember these. Yeah. No,
that's the only like longest like running like series of stuff I've done. But as far as just like doing different styles, I just I try to do like 3 or 4, and then I don't even really have to like tell myself like this is the last one. It's just like I'll do it and I'll be like, okay, that was the last one of that, and I'm like, I want to do something different. Let's get back online and like find some new inspiration. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, do you pick when you pick colors? Like, what's the thought process, or are you just like?
I've done that. I've done that where I'll just like pour all the like the paints and the tubes like into a basket and just like, and then just like grab 4 and just drop it, and I'm like, those are horrible colors.
I was about to say.
But like, here we go.
And you commit to it.
Yeah,
oh, that's awesome.
I try to. Sometimes I'll be like, no, I want this color right there. But yeah, I try to just stick with that because it's just like the randomness of it. But as far as the colors, I put limitations on like, okay, you can only have 4. And my favorite colors are like reds and blues. I always kind of hate that red and green together is kind of associated with Christmas because it's such a cool color combination. And I've been working with the red and green a lot more recently because I'm trying to like, some sub mission of mine is to like be like, it's not just Christmas.
Yeah.
Like,
Looking at this, when I see the red, I don't think Christmas. But yes, I agree with you. Generally, if I see
red and green,
a clean, because that's definitely
yeah.
But it's like, oh, that's Christmas. But yeah, you know, it's like then Christmas was far out of my head, and I just look at the eye, and I was like, oh boy.
There's also on the red, it was a completely accidental. It's just one like dragon eye, like above it. You see it
in the red?
Yeah.
No, don't tell me.
Okay.
I want to stare at it until I figure it out.
Like on the left hand side of the red.
Okay.
I don't know. Some people have like just immediately been like, oh, there's an eye above this one, and then other people are like, no, it just and then I was like, Tom was saying, it looks like I'm in like a cave. I think that was.
I could see that.
Yeah.
No, I could totally see that.
I love everybody's different take on it. Like.
You ever hear a take and you're like, no, stop it. Yeah,
no, I love everybody's take. I've heard people like, even some people that are, one of my favorite things to get from like friends or somebody is, personally, I love it when they're like, it's interesting. I love that reaction because it's their honest reaction. And like, it's just as fun as being like someone that's like, I love it, because then I can have a conversation with them about it, and then I'm like, well, what is it that you see in it, and then hearing what the people that have told me like, oh, it's interesting, what they see is always sometimes like inspiration for something I'm gonna like the next time I do it.
That's pretty cool. It's like recycling, or not. I don't know. I don't even know what the term is, but yeah, like getting inspiration from someone's
image,
not completely wrong idea.
Yeah.
And
they're like, somebody will be like, I think somebody that told me that on this one was like, it looks like a volcano or like a mountain, and I
can see that like, too.
Yeah, cool. So my next thing, I want to try to do like some sort of volcano or mountain thing with it.
Oh man, that'd be like the fires of Mordor. Connor, thank you for being the first non-musician on here. It was now everyone else after has a high standard to follow. This was so easy.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. This is like so much fun. I always have a good time like talking to you. This is like super fun.
Yeah, it's just we're sober this time.
Yeah, exactly.
We're adults.
We're not 6 beers deep right now.
Yeah. We're like,
exactly. Yeah.
Oh. But you know what? I feel like the ADD was still there.
Yeah,
and I think it was the charm of this conversation, right? We're just like everywhere, going back, forth,
jumping
up,
all
down.
over the place.
Yeah. But so I would like to also thank Joel back here handling the audio and the video when people see this, or if the listeners are inclined to hear it or see. Hold on, let's rewind. I'd like to thank Joel back there doing the audio and cutting the video. For the listeners, if they are inclined to see it, this is the only time I can drop links because that's what the FCC says, is go on YouTube and look for CCN Media HTX. Yes? You know what? Just Google Community Cultivation Network, and you'll find this. And yeah, you're listening to the Houston Collective on KPFT 90.1 FM. I am your host, Masaya the Video Guy, signing out.